Well, good evening. Happy Monday, everybody.
Good evening.
Hello, y'all caught me air pianing.
Air piano. I love it. You can
Mhm.
play. You can play just like Singletary, I'm sure.
No.
No, not like him. Now, can I act like him at times? Absolutely.
Man, y'all that are watching us, howdy. Y'all just don't know what these last few hours has been like for our
It's like
SGF
grit, huh?
crew.
Yeah.
It's
That's
been
an
a day.
understatement. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a
So
Monday.
it's been very hectic for all of us, but we are thankful to be in your living rooms or in your office or on your phone, wherever you're watching us. We're thankful for you to be with us. Y'all, if you're watching us on Facebook, we would appreciate it greatly if you would click the share button. While you're at it, go ahead and like our SBM Studios page if you would. But yeah, click that share button, share with your friends, your family, and your enemies. We love that. And also, if you will, if you're watching on YouTube, hey, we appreciate you. We need YouTube subscribers. So if you would subscribe and hit that notification button, we appreciate you greatly. But yeah, first of all, we just praise the Lord tonight for his watching care, his watch care over Riley. Had a little mishap today, but he is in good shape and looking all bright and fuzzy up there. So good to have you with us, buddy.
Yes, glad to be here. Very thankful.
Yes, very thankful for that. And yeah, so and we've had technical difficulties all along the way. We're trying new things in our SBM studios tonight. So y'all just buckle up and who knows what's coming down the turnpike.
Gonna be good.
It's going to be good. Hey, how
Mhm.
about we take care of some business? How's that sound?
Sounds good to me.
All
Put
right.
on my serious face.
Put on your serious face. All right. We've got some sponsors tonight that we want to recognize. And the first sponsor of the night is the Heaven Bound Trio. Well, this is a new sponsor for us, and we are very thankful for them. Brother Larry Jones contacted me and wanted to sponsor us. We're thankful for that. Awesome group, awesome trio. You can see their website down below at heavenboundtrio.com. I know they've been at NQC on the, I forgot what they call the competitions in the morning. Y'all help me out.
Oh,
The showcase.
yeah,
Well,
the showcase.
yeah. They have done very well. They're a crowd favorite. And if you go to heavenboundtrio.com, you can check out their music, check out their tour schedule, and just please, if you get a chance with Brother Larry Jones and the Heaven Bound Trio, to thank them for sponsoring
Mm-hmm.
Southern Gospel Forward, and looking forward to growing with them and having them on board. Then we have a repeat sponsor tonight, the Lawson family from Reedsville, North Carolina. Did I get it right, Riley?
Yes, sir.
Get out. Papa got it right. The Lawson,
Woo.
they have been regular sponsors of Southern Gospel Forward. We thank them for that. And you can see the lawsonsmusic.com. Go check out their website and support them as well. We had an anonymous sponsor send in some information, so I want to put that up. And Southern Gospel concerts are coming in Central Alabama. Clear Vision. It's going to be Sunday, March 17th at 1:30 p.m. The Pilot Family Saturday, June 8th at 6 p.m. And this is at Emmanuel Baptist Church located at 1745 Red Hill School Road, Hayden, Alabama. And pastor there, Dwayne Harper, and the singing chairman, none other than our own Evan Bradford. But Evan did not send this in
I
anonymous.
did not. I'm looking at Avery right now like, what?
And I'm looking at him like, huh?
Thank y'all to whoever sent that in. You're
Yeah,
doing
so,
better advertising than I can.
Mm-hmm.
appreciate that sponsorship. And then we have some individual sponsors that we would like to recognize tonight, and that is Andrew Potts and Daniel Hayes. And we thank them for sponsoring. Thank y'all so much. Remember that when you sponsor Southern Gospel Forward, you are helping us produce this, to put it out there, the cost that we have associated, and the cost of where we're looking to get to some of the big events and set up and be present and keep growing this community of young artists and young fans. So thank y'all so much for supporting us. And speaking of that, two things. First of all, I'm going to throw Brother Jason in the production room a little curveball, but we want to give a shout out to the National Quartet Convention. We think highly of the National Quartet Convention. And in September, the granddaddy of them all, September 22nd through 28th, tickets are available. The seating is going back to end the round. You do not want to miss this fantastic week of Southern gospel music. And then now I also want to give a shout out to the SGMA. Y'all know I am a board member of the SGMA, and Friday is the cutoff, the deadline. If you would like to become a member of the Southern Gospel Music Association and get to vote this year in the nominations for 4 individuals to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, Friday the 8th is your cutoff. You can go to sgma.org and you can go there, and for $20 you can have a membership. That $20 helps to curate the museum and keep this going on, and then you get those votes. And real quick, we're going to share a message from our president, Arthur Rice.
Hi folks, Arthur Rice, president of the Southern Gospel Music Association. Just a reminder that the nomination ballots will go out March the 11th. That's Monday, March the 11th. So if you haven't signed up, if you're not a member yet, I want to encourage you to go to sgma.org. You can join today. You can join up until Friday, March the 8th. That's the cutoff to become a member, to where you can turn in your nomination ballot. So we're excited about that, excited about this new year and the new inductees going in. And you get to decide, you get a vote on who you want to go in. So be sure and sign up, sgma.org. God bless you guys.
And everybody knows that Brother Arthur Rice is a champion for young folks, one of the biggest encouragers in the industry. And we're thankful for he and Tammy, his wife, and all the work that they do for the SGMA. And that concludes all of our business for the night. I didn't put anybody on the spot tonight, y'all.
Thank you.
But I think I will right now.
Oh, no.
I think what I'm going to do, because we've got to get, and our guest has worked hard today. He's had some technical difficulties, had some utilities cut at his house, but I think that he's going to be able to be with us in live and living color. And I'm going to ask young Evan if he would bring on our guest for the night.
So I met this guy. I've never met him in real life, but me and him have been just Facebook friends, texting friends for about 2 years now, and I'm very excited to have this guy on. Me and him can talk Southern Gospel history like it's nobody's business. Please welcome one of my best friends, Mr. Nicholas Wilke.
Yes, sir.
How's it going?
Woo. Woo. It's going good. Looking good, my young brother.
I'm glad to be here. It's been a crazy day. Internet cord, whatever you call it, was cut at our house, and we've been trying to get that fixed and all that stuff. So it's been a crazy day, but I'm here. I'm glad to be
here, and we're going to roll with it. We're hoping that the connection is going to be strong enough, and we'll just roll with it. But thank you so much, buddy, for joining us. And I've met Nick a few times at the National Quartet Convention is where I've seen him through the last several years, and enjoy kind soul, kind heart, love him to death. And I think I would say that he is known in the industry as a super fan, so to speak. He loves Southern gospel, and the artists love him, and just great connections across the way. I tell you what, Brother Nick, let's just start out like we start most of our shows, because there actually may, since you're kind of a behind the scenes guy, there may be several folks watching tonight that this is the first time that they meet Nick Wilke. So would you take just a moment, maybe give a little bit about your background and introduce yourself to our audience?
Well, I'm Nicholas Wilke. I'm 22 years old. I work for the LifeFM radio network. I do a segment on there every Wednesday morning, and they call it the Nicholas Nugget. What I do is I share several interesting facts about different artists. I pick one artist a week, and what I do is I actually get them to send in a voice message, a voice recording of them sharing some nuggets about themselves, and Rodney Balcom and his daughter Reagan and I play those on the radio, and we do one a week on Wednesday mornings, so that's that. And how I got into gospel music was I was 11 years old, and I saw the Kingdom Airs for the first time at Dollywood, and I fell in love with it, and I've been in love with it ever since. So that's a little bit about me, my love for Southern gospel and everything.
Absolutely. And working for the LifeFM, I tell you, it doesn't get any better than Rodney Balcom when it comes to all things Southern gospel radio. And when he has stepped in. The mantle was passed, so to speak, with the untimely passing of Paul Howell, who we know for years did the gospel greats and excellent job. But Rodney has stepped into that role, and he's carrying on the tradition with excellence and just wonderful folks. And we glad you get a chance to work with him, Nick.
I'm honored to. He's one of my best friends in gospel music, and I'm just blessed to have a friendship with him like that. And he's amazing. His whole family is, and I know most of his family, and they're all incredible. So
yes, they absolutely are. And I tell you, we've got a lot of folks checking in. We'll get to those in just a little bit. But remember, watchers, if y'all will share, please keep sharing with your friends. We are growing a good audience as it is, but the more the merrier. All right, so I'm going to get out of the way and yield. I've talked too much already tonight, so Papa's going to hush. And why don't we, let's see now, it's been a rough day on him, but I'm going to shake things up. Why don't we let Riley start tonight? Would that throw you off too much, Riley? You ready with a question?
That's fine with me. Kind of continuing talking about the Life FM. How did you get started and involved with them, and get to know a little bit more about how you got to know the Balkums and all that?
Yeah. So in 2015, let me back up. I have there's a guy named Phil Witt, and he was my pastor at my church for over 12 years, about 12 and a half years or so. And I believe this was the first time he brought up Rodney. Pastor Phil has known Rodney and his family for years. And Phil brought up Rodney one time to me. I was having surgery one time, actually, in 2015. And we were at the hospital just talking and everything because he came to visit me before surgery. And Phil started talking to me about Rodney. And a few months later, he took my dad and I to see Rodney at the old radio station, the old radio studio, and I struck up a friendship with him that day, Rodney that day, and I've been good friends with Rodney ever since. We went out to eat that day and everything, and our friendship has just grown since then. So that's kind of how I got to know Rodney, and then how I got the job with the Life FM. They moved into a new studio several months back, and I went over there to look at the new studio one day, and I thought that I was just going to go just to tour it. So anyway, I got there, and Rodney and Reagan took me back to tour it, and then after that, they sat me in their conference room, and that's when they offered me the job, and so that's how I got the job. And I'm just blessed to be good friends with the Balkan family, and I love them dearly.
Awesome.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Just getting offered a job just like that. I've known you. I think I became friends with you right before or right after you got the job at Life FM. Because on the bus with Troy and Tammy, they would listen to Life FM all the time. That was their go-to station. And I really fell in love with Life FM around that time. So what is, speaking of radio, what's some cool stuff that you've learned on the other side, of Southern gospel, where a lot of people are familiar with the stage life and what singers do there? What's something you've learned about radio in Southern gospel that's many people might not know about?
I'm not sure how to answer that. I mean, I'm at a loss for words. I don't know how to answer that. Rephrase that maybe. Maybe.
So like something like how like songs make it to a station. What's something like you've learned there and such, or do you get like a new insight on songs that maybe haven't been released to public, but you get to hear at the station before?
I know they the radio stations get songs before they're released to the public, and I think the radio stations have to play the artist single. the radio. Yeah, I've gotten to hear a few songs that I think maybe we're not heard elsewhere yet. I don't think, but yeah, they. But I'll tell you this. Here's the thing. I don't do much with the music of radio. All I do is just talk on the radio, basically.
Right.
I send in. I get artists to send in the little voice recording, and Roddy and I play that on the radio in Reagan. So,
Nice.
I love it. I just love it. And what I do is I go in about once a month and I record about 4 segments at a time. And, one plays each week.
Nice. So that's something that like people might not know. And what I meant by that, because like you go in once and you get your whole month's worth of work.
Exactly.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Because see, I didn't know that about radio, and that's something I'm kind of interested in.
Yeah. You can go in and record little segments as you want, and they'll play them. They'll just play one a week or whatever, and archive the other ones or whatever until they get around to playing them.
Very cool. Yeah. Very cool.
Neat. So, I had a question. Everybody knows you really like the older Southern gospel and the history of it all with your segment and things. So how did you get interested in that? If you started seeing like just the Kingdom Airs in like 2011 and stuff, what sparked your interest?
I actually don't remember how I fell in love with the old stuff, but I'll tell you this. I'm good friends with a bunch of people in gospel music that love the old stuff. And so I think they've had a big influence on me as far as loving the old stuff. Like I'm good friends with Berman Porter. He loves the old stuff. And guys like a guy named John Crenshaw and a guy named Dean Adkins and a guy named Jeff Turner and just a bunch of those guys that love the old stuff. And I think they've been a big influence on that.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yep.
So I guess it's my turn now.
Yep.
So obviously you, like we mentioned, you love the old stuff. So what are some of your favorite old groups? And maybe I'll start with that one.
A few of my favorite old groups. Well, yeah, what Evan's pointing to. The lineup, the Statesman's my favorite group of all time. And the lineup that's on the album on Evan's right, I believe it is, Out West.
Let me grab it for you.
That lineup right there, Rosie Roselle, Jake Hess, Doy Ott, Big Chief, and Hobie. That right there is my favorite group of all time. A bunch of other groups. I love the old Black Brothers way back when JD was there, and I love the Rebels. I even like some of the trios back then, like the Rangers trio and the Goss Brothers. I love the Goss Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And song and a bunch of them. I just love the old stuff from back then.
Really neat.
So along with that, this was the question I texted you about today. This morning, I was sitting in my 8 a.m. I was sitting in my 8 a.m. English class, and Nick was like, "You got any good questions for me?" And I was like, "Man, I'm gonna pick this guy's brain to death." And so here's a question: since you have such a love for old groups, a lot of times when you say like make an iconic lineup of like concerts, so like if you were in Bill Bailey or Josh Franks or one of those guys' shoes, one of the big promoter shoes, but you could take from any pool. I'm talking from the James Devon Quartet days to 2024, and you could make a 4-group lineup concert. What would that be for Nicholas Wilke?
Yeah, you put me on the spot.
I told you I was going to save it for you, man.
Right now, the Statesman would be last.
Mm-hmm.
That's my opinion. Let's see. I probably would have to put the Rebels in there.
Okay.
If I was doing all quartets, let's say the Rebels, let's say the Prophets,
Mm.
Blackwood Brothers and States.
Got it right
Good
here.
one
I've
there.
only seen one of those groups live, probably because there's only one of those groups still touring. But the Blackwood Brothers still today even put on a great concert. And I mean, honestly, take you back to which I never went to 1950. Wish I could. I could just imagine myself with my duck-tailed hair and my trucker sideburns listening to that style music. Now, they probably wouldn't have liked it way back then, but, you know.
Oh, yeah. Good stuff. Yeah, I just love that old
That's a
stuff.
great
Always
lineup.
have.
I was excited for that question because I knew yours would be different than it. Because you ask anyone else that question, they're going to say, yeah, let's do the cathedrals and the Kingsmen and the Inspirations and Gold City. You're going to get that. And I mean, that's okay. That is perfectly fine because those are four of the greatest of all time. But I wanted to hear an answer from a guy who likes, you know, groups like the States and the Prophets. I mean, name me another person under the age of, heck, 50 that even knows who the Prophets and Rebels are.
Scott does.
I'm not under 50 anymore.
Scott knows who they are.
Yeah.
I just love that old stuff. Always have.
I'm sorry for aging you, Papa.
That's okay. That's okay. I was right there with Nick. I would probably throw in the Blue Ridge ensemble of Jim Hamill, Elmo, Ed Sprouse, and George Yance as being in one of those in there. But anyway, yeah.
It seems impossible that those four guys were in a lineup at one time.
And I even love the gospel music even before that with the Rangers Quartet and even Frank Stamps and all those guys and let's see who else, Harmoniers, Homeland Harmony Quartet, groups like that.
Yep, good stuff.
That stuff's really old right there. That's really old.
Yeah.
So a lot of people might not know that you also host a podcast of your own called Conversations with Nick, right?
Southern Gospel Conversations.
And you actually have, Gospel Conversations. But I have listened to it, and I'm excited about each episode. They come out on Tuesdays, right? Every Tuesday, just about.
That's right. Every Tuesday morning.
You've had some great artists. So if you guys like listening to podcasts, I highly suggest you go and listen to Nick's podcast. But Nick, can you give us just a little backstory on how you got your podcast started? Because we've given ours a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, part of it is that folks have been telling me that I need to do something like in radio or a podcast or videos or something like to interview artists or something like that. And I just that's kind of the inspiration, I think. And then I guess just one day just decided to just do it, and I did it, and it's been going great. It's been going great, and I love it.
Yeah,
good deal. All right, we're picking them apart pretty good, y'all. We're going to go and pick up some peanut gallery input here right quick. I did get a message a while ago, and I apologize. Because I don't want anybody ever thinking this, that I said I kind of looked disinterested and bored. I was not. I'm trying to work out some technical difficulties, and I was trying to. One thing that seems that StreamYard does not seem to like is AirPods. We have latency, and it just kind of some of Nick's words are not coming through to us, and we apologize to you on that. But y'all bear with us. Oh, I didn't mean to take them out.
In his own hands.
You didn't have to take them out. I was just saying, but I was trying to figure out if there was something on the set. Yeah, and Riley's never seems to do that, but for some reason our guest, it always seems like that. And I don't know if it's following the link or what, but well, yeah, you're special, Riley. Yes, you are. But anyway, I was trying to work on that. But I am not bored. I am locked in and tickled to death to have Nick with us. Producer Jason, have you come across anything that we need to share with the audience? All right, just start throwing them up there. Nathan Dewberry, he's joining us tonight and says, "Good evening,
that's my buddy
everybody."
right there.
And Zach Stanley is checking in with a "Hey y'all, hey." Appreciate that. Alita Coleman, hello everyone from Salem, Virginia. Thank you so much for joining us. There's a Bradford, Hannah
long
Bradford.
lost cousin.
Hello, friends. Long lost. Where'd she go?
I don't know.
We
I ain't
never
met her before.
I met her on the cruise. She's really nice.
Awesome. And this is Brother Larry Jones of the Heaven Bound Trio. Thank
There
you
you
so
go.
Hey,
much
Larry.
for watching.
I know Larry, good friend.
And Aaron Swain, and I want to give Brother Aaron a little shout out because
Mhm.
with Brother Nick's situation with the internet service, and we didn't know how this was going to go, we had plans to have Aaron on in a few weeks down the road. And I shot him a message, and he was on standby with the link just in case we needed him. And we thank you so much. Thank you for always being a partner to Southern Gospel Forward.
Yes.
There's Daddy Robert.
He's watching in the other room.
There you go. He's right there. Justin Owens, good evening. Thank you for watching.
He's the tenor singer for the Pine Ridge Boys.
There you go. Pam Samuels, they're
She got
watching. Thank
started.
you so much.
Hey.
Thank you for watching. And Megan is a faithful watcher. Good
Oh,
evening,
faithful.
gang. We
Yeah,
are great.
buddy.
Thank you for joining us. Chuck Isaac says hello. We thank you for joining us. Kaylee Widener. Hey, y'all. I like those hey, y'alls. Braves fan 98.
They speak our language.
Hey, y'all. Yeah, and that's a unique name. I'd like to see that birth certificate. Braves fan 98. So, all right. Miss Harrison, thank you so much.
yeah,
She's in Winter Haven.
Oh, I should have sent you the picture where I got to meet her.
Yeah, you met her in La Mama, right?
Yes, I met her in my mama. She's precious.
Well, and she says you have a fantastic voice, and we
well,
agree.
Thank you.
It's
Thank
pretty
you so
good.
much.
I taught her everything she knows.
Hey, Whitney Holcomb, we thank you for watching and glad you look forward to the interviews. We do too. So thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, Whitney.
Chris Champion, brother cousin Chris chiming in. He says, I like shrimp and Evan and Riley, but mostly shrimp. However, I like Avery more than shrimp. Don't get me started. Wow. Hey, Miss Peters, thank you so much for watching. Go, Nick.
Nancy Peters used to go to my church.
All right.
Oh,
Thank you.
Good to see you, Nancy.
Elizabeth Spelling's in West Tennessee. She loves Southern gospel music and glad to see the younger ones coming into it. And so am I. So am I. Thank you so much. Miss Eunice, thank you so much for being with us again. Another faithful supporter and watcher. Thanks for being with us and looking forward to know. All right, Aaron, let's see. How many of y'all know that Nicholas can actually sing some bass? There's at least, where's that clip?
I haven't seen the clip, but I've heard about the clip. So me and Aaron got some inside.
All right.
All I was doing was this. Oh, that's all I was doing.
So if you have a big soda and have a little belching going on, you might perform it. Just place it right and, get the placement right. And there you go. No, I'm just kidding. Thank y'all so much. And y'all keep chiming in. If you come up with a question or two, just feel free to shoot it out there. But I'm going to ask Nick a question and then I'm going to get out of the way and yield to the youngins again. But all right, Nick. So, one thing that I notice, and I'm a watcher and I'm a noticer, and I know, you're a friend to basically all the artists. You can tell that you love them and that they love you. And, maybe talk a little bit about that, the family that is Southern Gospel and how you've been supported and how you've been loved and those in the industry that's encouraged you.
I'll start by saying this. My very first friend that I ever had in gospel music was probably Jeff Chapman. And I didn't get to meet him the very first time I ever saw the Kingdom Heirs, but like maybe the second time I saw the Kingdom Heirs or something, I met him in person, and that was in 2013. And I've been close friends with Jeff ever since. But then after that, I went to the National Quartet Convention for the first time in 2014. And when the first year was in Pigeon Forge, and I've been every year since. And the artists were just so kind to me that year, and I've just since then I've just made just a bunch of friends in gospel music, and I just being around gospel singers just makes my day and everything. I just love it, and so I'm just so blessed to have a lot of friends in gospel music, and they're just so many incredible people in the business, and I love them dearly.
That's right, and they love you too, buddy. They sure do.
Is it Riley's turn?
Riley's turn.
Okay.
Absolutely.
It is.
I can't remember what turn it ever is.
Riley's.
What? Well, I guess I'm gonna do one. We had very few from the group, but we did have one in the group that I saw. With you being such a big fan of bass singers, what? I think they mentioned specific mics, but I didn't have it written down or whatever. But what's your favorite bass singer mic that a bass singer uses?
I don't have a favorite, but I've heard that there's a few. I've heard of a few that are awesome for bass singers. One is the AKG 535, and I've heard Jeff on that mic, and I've heard Chris West on that mic, and I'm sure some other bassists have used it. I know Tim Riley has used it too, but so that's one, and then also another mic called the Sennheiser 965, I believe, is another one that that's really good for bass singers and everything. And also, some bass singers like this one, some bass singers don't. But the other one is the Shure SM81,
the classic.
Yeah, some bass singers like that one, but some don't care for it. But it's just a matter of an opinion. But yeah, so those are a few that I've heard that are really good for bass singers and everything.
There you go.
So with you going with bass singers, and just kind of finding that ear, of course you were, Jeff was the first bass singer you ever got to see live. If I'm putting the puzzle pieces together, right? But what attracted you to the bass position? What was that was kind of the one that you watched at a concert?
I've just always been attracted to the bass singers. Just those. Not many people can just nail a low note, and that's just kind of unusual, Not many folks can nail a low note in their natural voice and everything. And I don't know. I've just been attracted to that part. That's just been the part that I've always been attracted to. And I tell you this too. I remember several years ago, before I even got into gospel music, one of the first bass singers that I remember hearing live, and this was before I even got into gospel music, because groups would come to my church sometimes before I even got into gospel music. And so one of the first I remember hearing live was David Hester when he was with the Dove Brothers.
Yep.
Yeah, I ain't thought of his name in a while. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a CD the Dove Brothers put out called "Never Ever the Same." I believe it's the name of that CD, and I've always loved that album and everything. And I was always attracted to David's bass singing on that CD, even before I got into gospel music and everything. So,
Awesome.
So yeah.
Good.
So the Guardian's official Facebook page says that they have to give their bass singer all three mics at once. That's tough right there, boys and girls. We're going to move on from that.
I'm just
Say that again.
I said, when do they hire a bass? I said, when do they hire a bass singer?
Look out.
Their bass singer needs that much help that he needs those three mics,
Didn't mean to step on you, Avery. You're up.
No, I'm good. That was hilarious. I was hoping you'd pull that in.
Old Pat.
So, Nick, I know you like historical facts and stuff. So tonight, did you know that you've made history for Southern Gospel Forward?
I guess I have.
You did. You were our first. Well, you're our first non-singing artist, but you're in the industry anyway. So I thought that was a cool little. You love history, so you're making history.
Yep.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, that's cool.
Unrelated to that, you said you've been going to NQC since 2014. I just started in 2020 at that fall festival, and it went since then. And I just got to meet you this past year, which I loved this year so much because I made so many friends and finally got to meet so many people live and in person. It was like a little family reunion. So do you have like a favorite moment or memory from any of those NQCs that like just really stands out to you?
My favorite moment of NQC is just talking to everybody. I love the singing, don't get me wrong, but I'm fellowshipping with people 80% of the time. And I'll give a specific, and I'm going to go back to Berman Porter. Berman didn't get to go last year, but when Berman lives in Bladenburg, North Carolina now, where he's from. He moved back there, but he lived in Sevierville, Tennessee for several years. And so for several of those NQCs, Berman was there every night, and I hung out with Berman probably about more than anybody. And that's one reason why I got to be such good friends with Berman. One reason. And so a specific thing is hanging out with Berman. I just have incredible memories of that. Hanging out with him at the NQC.
Oh.
Yes. That was hey Greg, by the way, love you, man. I shot with Berman and Jeff target shot across the street from where Berman used to live in with some targets out there and everything. But that was probably 3 or 4 years ago or something like that. And then the year after that, Jeff wasn't able to go because he was singing at Dollywood whenever he was still with the Kingdom Airs. But Berman and a guy named Sam Piper and my dad and me went. So yeah, man, that's a great memory, getting to shoot with Jeff and Berman, and then the year after that, shooting with Berman. That's an awesome memory that I'll always cherish. So yeah, but target shooting is another thing I've always loved to do. I don't get to do it much, but I've always loved target shooting as well.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't mean to step on your question, Riley, but this one kind of fades in. Was it an NQC where you got to ride in Jeff's? I don't want to get the car wrong. Was it a Camaro or is it Mustang? It was one of them Corvette. Fast cars. Corvette. The one I didn't say.
Yep. That was 2 years ago, maybe, or something like that. And I got to ride in Jeff's red Corvette he had, but now he has a black one. And so hopefully I'll get to ride in that one sometime soon. But
little hit.
Yeah, he had a red one, and he just took me for a ride in it, and we just rode around Pigeon Forge for probably 15 minutes, just sitting there in the Corvette, just chatting and everything. So yeah, that is awesome. That's another great memory I have with Jeff. Jeff's one of my best friends in gospel music. I love him dearly, and I've been out to eat with him as well, and we just developed an incredible friendship.
Well, if people have followed you at all, they've noticed in your comments and everything, a lot of people comment calling you the Mag.
The Mag.
So, what's the backstory behind that, and how did you get to be such a ladies magnet?
I just posted a few pictures, a few friends several years back, and people started doing that. But thankfully, that has died down. Thankfully,
it's died down. But there's a whole Facebook page, and I posted on it today.
I know you did. But anyway, I'm gonna hit you, Riley, for asking that. Anyway,
people started up again, please. No.
All right, you boys.
But anyway,
Got
that's how I got started.
Now everyone's throwing out the nicknames in the comments. Someone take Jason's mouse.
Now it's time for Avery to ask a question.
Oh gosh, hang on. So okay, I know you say you don't sing, but if you could sing full time, a weekend, whatever, a dream group, what group? I guess you could do current because you don't have affiliations with any group, so no offense to anybody. Current, former, any of them. Which group would you want to sing with and why?
If I had the pipes, it'd be the Statesman.
I was going to say, let me answer that one for you.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be Statesman.
Yes, but I don't. Trust me. As good as them guys were, I don't have any to the pipe. Yes, Scott?
Okay. So Statesman is an ongoing thing. So looking through all of the members of the Statesmen through the years, if you could pick and choose from the different era of the Statesmen and put all together one lineup, I'm gonna tell you mine after you tell me yours. But what's your lineup from tenor to bass? We know who's playing piano, so from tenor to bass, what's your lineup?
My lineup is one that was already assembled.
Okay, what was that?
Rosie Roselle, Jake Hess, Doyot, Big Chief.
My lineup would be one that was, as far as I know, was never heard together unless there was some fill-ins. And I could be wrong because Statesman has some shuffles and some slides and some temporary combinations from time to time. But mine would, of course, be Doy and Chief on the ends on the baritone and bass. But I would have Jack Tony lead and Cat Freeman on tenor.
I'm a big Jack Tony guy.
I'm just curious. All right.
That's good. Cat Freeman, he was on that Red album that's in the background.
No.
That one.
There we go.
Whoop, that one.
He's singing all the tenor on that album, all the songs.
Nice.
And that's the only album that Cat Freeman sang the tenor on all the songs.
That is awesome. That's why I love this guy. He just knows stuff like that. That's awesome.
All right. Back to Riley. You got another round?
Okay. Since we're talking about the Statesman still, what is your favorite Statesman album?
Other than Out West.
That's a cool album. That's not my favorite though. That's a great album, and that's a cool album. As far as albums that I've heard by them, the one that's coming to my mind right now is an album called "Mystery of His Way."
Good.
I love that album.
Good choice.
Yeah. So Scott, you've obviously heard that album, I think, haven't you?
Oh yeah, yes, sir. I have. Yes, sir.
That's a big.
We're in a podcast right now with the two biggest Statesman fans I know. Honestly,
Not me.
not you. I'm pointing. Let me there over here, there,
Other way.
over there. Thank you.
Yeah, but yeah, "Mystery of His Way" is the "Mystery of His Way" is the album that's coming to my mind.
Nice. I might have that one. I'm not going to search through, but I'll find it.
Your turn.
Oh, it's my turn. Okay.
Somebody tell Evan it is his turn.
So I'll
Cue
just
the
throw
meme.
this one out here. You go to a lot of concerts, so you're obviously on the road a lot.
Yeah.
What is your favorite road trip snack?
I didn't think I'd get asked this one because I'm not a singer, but
Hey, everybody has.
It's my favorite question too.
One thing that's coming to my mind is, and I've not had these in a long time, but one thing that's coming to my mind that I like is spicy peanuts,
Yo,
Mm.
that's a new one.
spicy ones. But yeah, that's like I said, I've not had them in a long time, but that's one thing that's coming to my mind.
That's
You're gonna bring
strange.
a tear.
I
You're gonna
would
bring
not.
a tear to.
Not that spicy. They're not all that spicy, but they have a little spice to them. But yeah,
Slow
just
burn.
good flavor.
I was going to say, you're going to bring a tear to Papa's eye because I've had a couple of weeks of a little ailment that's been going on, and I love spicy food and have not been able to have any for about 2.5 weeks now. So when I get all nice and better, I'm fixing to go get me something that has jalapeno in it. So
What?
anyway,
Don't
Don't
get the
put it in your
sauce.
eye.
Don't get
Yeah,
the
don't-
sauce. in your eye.
I won't. I
He
won't.
did that on an episode. He got jalapeno in his eye.
And
I
then he
know.
got spiritual and
We're
started
probably
crying.
watching.
He was watching.
He was
Yeah.
watching.
Mhm.
Yes. Yes, I did. Thank you so much for bringing that back up.
I thought
And,
Tear to your
I
eye,
appreciate
don't
it.
it?
That's going to be in the greatest hits, the outtakes and the bloopers. Yes, when we do
yeah,
that
and
reel.
that happened on Maria and Ben's interview. But anyway,
Yep,
Yes,
that's the gag. That's on the gag
Mhm.
reel.
exactly.
All right, Miss
Right.
Avery.
So here's another question that we often ask our singers, but I feel like it's applicable to everybody. Do you have any hidden talents or hobbies that most people don't know about?
I mean, definitely not any hidden talents, I don't think. But hobbies. About the only hobbies I have is watching videos, watching gospel music videos, and target shooting videos, and all that, and talking to folks on the phone, going to the radio station, recording stuff there, and all that stuff. Those are pretty much my hobbies. So, I guess no, not really.
Hey, I didn't know about you like to target shoot.
Yeah,
so that
target
was neat.
shooting is
That's
Mhm.
awesome.
yeah, that's definitely different. Here's a little cool little tying in Southern gospel and target shooting. And I've been told this is not true, but I've also been told by the guy that was doing it that it was true. So Troy Burns and Jack Laws on the album Just As Long As Eternity Rolls, there was a mess up in the tape. So whenever they had all these records, Martin was like, well, we can't sell them on the table. You boys just go dispose of them. So Jack and Troy went out to Fontana Lake and would throw those records up and shoot them. So there's just little fragments of Just As Long As Eternity Rolls in the middle of Fontana Lake.
Wow.
Yep.
That's
So there you go.
History kind of trivia there. That's kind of neat.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yep. So there you go. Tying in your two favorite things right there.
I like that. There you go.
Like it too. All right, y'all. We are hitting about a 45-minute mark. I'm going to take just a moment here and thank y'all so much. I think we've got some good shares. We've got a good audience. If you haven't shared us yet, share it on your page. We'd appreciate that on your Facebook page. And if you're watching on YouTube, please be sure and subscribe before you leave us to our channel so you won't miss the next episode. We are going to go through in just a second. I don't know if we got any other comments. I think we got some comments, but real quick, let's go ahead because y'all stay tuned. We're fixing to make a transition here in just a couple of minutes, and this is going to be just an absolute 180 turn that we don't normally do on this show. So stay tuned. Yep. But real quick, and we mentioned the LifeFM. Producer Jason, would you mind putting up that graphic and maybe putting up that little banner with with the website? The LifeFM that as Brother Nick is a part of, as he has said, and I believe the website is there it is, thelifefm.com. So if you can go there, you can find out about the station, the affiliates, how to listen to it online and learn all about that. But we do encourage that. That is an outstanding station that is committed to playing the best in Southern gospel music. And we appreciate them for sharing Nick with us tonight and wanted to give them a shout out. So let's go to our comments. Producer Jason, if you've got any marked for us, you can start slinging them up there, and I'll see if my glasses will Pepa's glasses let him read. Charlie Owens is joining us tonight. Good job.
Thank you.
We're going to say that's for all of us. Hey, there's Gary Casto.
Great job doing that on spin, Gary.
Yeah, yes, Gary was doing
that. Our oldest young person.
Yeah,
I told
Gary wanted to be on board. So
I say we can make an
let's make it happen.
Listen, I really think he thought he was getting on forward, and I guess it was a letdown when it was Papa and the crazy uncle that was joining it. Yeah.
My favorite crazy uncle, you know.
Allie Guerin.
Allie Guerin.
Hey y'all.
Howdy.
Thanks for joining us. Dayton Gay, he's been a past guest. We thank him as well. Larry Jones, hey Nick, love you, brother. Thank you for that.
Appreciate you, buddy.
Joseph Brown. Hey,
Joe Brown. Is that Joe Brown. From the Inspirations, Joe Brown?
Stop right there. Yes, that is bass singer Joe Brown from the Inspirations. Yes.
Hello, Joe.
What?
Yes. I talked to him the other day on the phone for like an hour. There's not a better encourager. You heard about encouragers earlier. Joe Brown's one of my encouragers. I love that man.
Joe is one of my favorite bass singers, and like I've never got to see him live. That is awesome.
Yeah, Joe's just amazing. Love him dearly. Love you, Joe. Appreciate you.
Awesome. Thank you, Joe, for watching us. Brother Mallory, Coach Mal, he's watching us. Thank you. He's a regular. Thank you so much. Kenneth Wilke. You know this gentleman? That's his dad. Well, thank you so much, Brother Kenneth, for watching us. We appreciate you sharing Nick with us tonight. Jeff Dean is watching from Kentucky. Thanks for joining us. Tina Rees, first time listening to the podcast from Kentucky. And yes, we thank you for watching us on the live stream. And producer Jason's much better half, Rachel, says, good evening, y'all. Hey. Not discounting you in there. Sorry. Just keep going. I'm sorry. I'll leave that alone. Jules Parsons. Hey, Nick.
I love that lady right there and her husband. Good people.
Fantastic. Thanks for joining us, Miss Martha Galt.
She used to go to my church as well.
And Martin Loden. Hey, guys.
We'll
say hey.
Where are those records?
I got them
somewhere.
What was it?
Oh, right.
One day, Thursday.
Cameron Eden. Hey, Nick. We love you too, buddy. Nick's got a fan club assembling on here.
I want to thank Mark Loden. He got me all these records, man, the other day. And there's some good stuff in these, man. So I want to thank
Where's
him.
Mine?
You'll have to come fight me for him.
Hey, Shannon Hollis, thanks for watching us.
We got to meet her at last Sunday night at the Kingsman concert.
I'm sure you did. She's in our area and amazing singing, Nick. So Miss Eunice has heard you.
I think somebody shared that link. I think
Aaron Swain did. Yeah.
Aaron Swain.
Look out. Busted.
Oh well.
I'll be looking for that link afterwards.
Yeah, I had to check that out. Silky Wilkie,
Silky
Stephen
Wilkie.
Adair.
Love you,
All
Stevie.
right. Thank you, Stephen. We love Stephen for the Mark Trammell
Mhm.
Quartet. Thank you for joining us.
Silky Wilkie.
Steve Black says, howdy.
Hey, Steve. Love you, buddy. Great singer right there. Great singer.
Indeed.
I
got
saw a
any-
question from there's one of them.
Oh, Dad's gonna stir the pot.
Easy now. Now, Nick, I'll be very careful how you answer this. Who's your favorite Southern Gospel Forward host?
All of them.
But
Hey!
Hey.
all the text and phone calls we've had.
Hey.
Good answer. Good answer.
Ooh.
What's your favorite hymn and Bible verse, Brother Nick?
My favorite hymn is "No One Ever Cared for Me Like Jesus."
I love
That's
it.
a good one.
Yes.
And my favorite Bible verse is everybody's favorite, but literally, honestly, my favorite may be the classic John 3:16. That just sums it up, you know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's
So
nothing wrong with that being your favorite for sure.
there you go.
Hey.
Hey.
Brother
Roland
Roland.
Kesterson.
Thank you
Roland,
so
I
much
love you,
for watching,
buddy.
brother.
You're a great friend, great guy. I love you, buddy.
We
Mary
enjoyed seeing you and all the inspirations in Aniana the other night. Mary Beth May joining us.
Beth-
Hey, Mary Beth.
I saw a question from Stephen Adair I thought was interesting. It was a little earlier.
All right, we'll see if we can't find that right quick. But Doyle Harper was watching, and we thank you for the shout out. I think Jason is looking back through the scroll, so just bear with us just a second. But
Harper's one of my dearest friends in gospel music. Love him.
Yukon,
Yukon, Oklahoma.
Wow.
You
Rick
couldn't.
Smith,
I couldn't locate Yukon if I was trying.
we it's in Oklahoma.
Oh,
So we should have kept
Oh, there
up
you
with where we're at. Here we go. If you could re-record any Statesman album with current singers, what album would you choose, and who would you have to sing? Now that is a
Mhm.
good question.
Mm.
Ooh.
With current singers.
Ooh.
Mike.
Mm.
That's like a piece of well done steak.
Yeah, that's
Chew that one.
I've got an answer.
a
I'm
well
gonna
thought
let-
out. That's a well thought out question. What do you have, Scott?
Well, not on the album, but on the group for Statesman Sound. I'm putting John Rulipaw on tenor because
Yeah.
he's got the Rosie
Mhm.
sound.
No doubt about it.
Yep.
Probably, gosh, I'm probably going to pull him out of retirement and put Arthur on lead.
You kind of have to with Statesman sound.
On baritone, I'm going to pull Scoot Shellnut out of the bullpen and put him on baritone for that rich baritone, smooth baritone. Oh, but the bass singer, and for the rhythm and the charisma, we can't ignore him. I think I'm going to go Pat Barker.
Mm.
There you go.
Thank you. That's also who I had in mind.
So there you go. That's my current Statesman lineup.
I guess I'll say mine.
Yeah.
John will be tenor. Lead. I know my baritone and my bass, but lead is hard, man. We're all just sitting here in silence trying to. I don't.
Say your baritone and bass and then come back to lead.
Yeah.
Okay, my baritone will be Scott Mullins.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yes, I love Scott. His voice is spectacular.
He's an amazing singer, and he'd be my baritone, and then my bass will be Berman.
Okay.
Because think about it. If you've listened to Berman, you know that Berman Porter has a chief sound to him.
He does.
He does. Look, yeah.
So Berman will be my bass singer, and lead.
You don't just put Pat Barker on lead. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
No. For the sake of not having to think anymore, I guess I'd go with you, Scott, and put Arthur, I guess.
Okay.
I thought you were about to say go with Scott and just put Scott. Lee was like,
Oh,
how about that?
if you put Scott on lead, you've just ruined the Statesman. I mean, that's gone. No, we're not going to go there. Well, this is awesome. And y'all can keep throwing the questions in there if you want. And who knows where we're going to go. Oh, whoop. I got a hand up raised from producer Jason. What you got, bub? He's saying, hang on. Oh,
Oh, yes.
yeah. Hey, Brittany,
I
thank
love
you
those
so
two.
much for watching us. And yeah, we definitely appreciate both the UTech brothers, and thank you so much for watching us. That means a lot. Was that it? Okay.
Love Alex too. Great people.
Absolutely. Alex and Andrew. Yes. And I saw them when they first started going on the road with the Dixie Echoes, when they were just sure enough youngins.
Sweet,
So
man.
yeah.
They were
Awesome. All right. So here we go. Oh, how the turntables. So here we go. We are going to switch gears. When we had Connor and Bailey and Kennedy Hayes on, they had a very small amount of time during that window, so it kind of shortened the time that we normally spend with our folks. And Riley actually was with them. Was that Praise Fest?
Yes.
Yeah, that was Praise Fest. So what happened with Evan and Avery and I for the rest of the show was we fielded questions from the Peanut Gallery. And folks kind of enjoyed that, but it was abbreviated, and Riley didn't get to participate. So what we have asked Nick to do is we are going to change seats now, and Nick is going to interview the 4 members of the Southern Gospel Forward host panel. So, Brother Nick, you got the floor.
Awesome. Put you on the spot big time. I'm just kidding. How did you all get into gospel music? That's the first question. All of you answer that. Riley, you go first.
Well, I've just grown up listening to it, and I've grown up going to singings, gone to hear Greater Vision and the Inspirations and the Old Past, which are now at the Medition, and the McCameys and the Primitives and all those, Gold City, and just any group that was nearby, we'd about go hear all of them. And as I got older, I've just gotten more involved, and obviously I've gotten involved in this, and very, very thankful for the music and the message, and it just blesses and encourages me and gets me through the good days and the bad days.
Very true.
Who's next, Nick? You just call on us.
Scott.
All right. So I have to go way back because I'm the old guy in the bunch. But my earliest memories that I have, one of my earliest fond memories of my childhood was with my family, the Champion family. Joe, JC, Jake, people know him by different names, was my uncle, one of the most phenomenal local singers you would ever have heard. And his sons, Neil and Chris, and several folks had a group called the Columbians from Columbus, Mississippi. And me getting to come down from where we lived in the Birmingham area to Millport, Alabama, and me getting to tag along on that old broken down bus that they had going to the weekend concerts was one of my fondest first memories that I had. And then that transformed to the Bama Boys when Uncle Jake and Neil and Chris formed that quartet in Millport and traveling with them. So local groups was my first exposure, but of course being with them, going back and forth, we listened to cassette tapes in the van and anywhere. It was always Southern gospel music. So quickly was exposed to the cathedrals during that time frame, which was early 80s and mid 80s. Gold City was getting into their heyday. Neelands was big, Singing Americans. I'm going to leave out some of the Inspirations. Obviously, Inspirations. My family played those records for me as a kid. Our Inspiration and Old Camp Meeting Time. Those two albums were the ones that I remember being spun as I was a kid. So it was in my blood because family sung. My great grandfather taught singing schools in the area. Great grandfather Bobbitt. So as long as I can remember, it's been Southern gospel. And it's like I can't remember what interview, maybe it was with Dayton the other day, but I enjoyed it because it was fun music and I just enjoyed the sound and it got me that way. And then as I got older and started maturing as a Christian, then I started listening to what was being sung, the lyrics.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And there's no other music that I've come across that touches the soul and stays as close to the word and the gospel as the standards of Southern gospel music. And I just love it. I love the Southern gospel family. I love the fact that artists actually love their fans. A lot of musical genres, they want your ticket money. Honestly, that's all they want is your ticket
Mhm.
money. Do you get to see them at the table after you go to the arena to see them? Do you get to shake their hand? Do you get to text with them? Do you get to messenger with them? No, you don't. You're just a number. In the Southern gospel industry, the artists love their fans, truly
Yep.
appreciate them. They have a heart for the fans and they want their fans to grow closer to the Lord. And so I love the heart of the Southern gospel family. And so yes, how I got started was back then and how it stuck is there. And really quick, before this comment gets too old, I think it was Aaron Swain put out this thing when if we wasn't bringing back Arthur for the Statesman. And one of my voices that I missed the most in Southern gospel music was Jonathan Sawry, who was the lead singer from the Melody Boys Quartet.
Yep.
Yes, that would be an excellent lead singer for a Statesman sound. Okay.
Yeah, no
All
doubt
right,
about
Nick. Nick, who's next from which one of the Bradfords you want?
Evan.
Okay, cool. Because Avery's probably going to do one much cooler than I. My first concert was, I think, 2007, and it was Gold City, Karen Peck, and Les Beasley was there, which is just awesome. I never got to meet Les. There's not a picture of me and Les, but he was at my first concert. And I remember very distinctly the power went out that night during Karen's set, and she just kept singing. Just did not care that there was no music.
This is pre-Matthew.
Yeah, this is before Matthew was playing guitar. She didn't have any instruments. She just went on and just hammered down. And as a kid, that was awesome. And as I grew older and got into playing music, I started to follow more of the Elvis and your Johnny Cash and those guys. And then that kind of was where I was at with music until about the time that it was about a year before Tracy of the Perrys had his stroke. And I really got to really enjoying them because we went to Bill Bailey's Thanksgiving Sing in Florence. And I remember I was going to go buy some popcorn. And I walked in front of the stage because that was the only way to get to the concession stand. And Tracy drops this just monstrous low note. And I'm standing like right here. And he's like looking down on me. And since then, he's been my favorite singer in gospel music. And then a year later, he had a stroke. And I would go to their concerts just to see him and just to check on him. And then I started learning all the Perry songs, learned how to sing, the bass harmony once my voice dropped, because there was this local group that came around. This is a little bit before, because I don't know how to tell stories in time. A little bit before, we had a local group around here called the Page Trio. Scott may know who or maybe familiar with the Page Trio. Those three guys are the reason that I love gospel music. They would come to the church, and their baritone, Cranny, Cranford Page, he's honestly, if I have to make an all-time lineup, he's going to be my baritone, even though maybe 5% of people in Southern Gospel know who he is. He would always pay me $1 to sing with them, and I learned how to sing tenor. And then Tracy taught me how to sing bass. What the heck, Riley? I'm kidding. I don't know what. But anyhow, as I went on and COVID hit, that was like I was in love with gospel music at that time. Like COVID was the hype, but there was no concerts to go to. So I was like, great. Now I'm stuck at home. And I love gospel music, and I want to go to a concert, but there's nowhere to see it. So I got to watching old Jubilee videos, and then I'd go to a thrift store and find an old gospel record, and then going into like a record store and finding these old gospel records for like $2. And now I have nearly 300 to 400 of them. And so the love for history started popping up. And once history started happening and I got into the history, then, the inspirations start popping up, this new group. And it's that stuff that I'd watch. And then the Kingsmen start bringing back some of their big and live stuff. And it just, from then, just kind of skyrocketed into the love that I have now for gospel music. Even got to sing with a little bit with Troy and Tammy. I know you're great friends with Troy and Tam. They love you tremendously. They talked about you on my short time at the bus. But they are really a big reason that, because getting to experience road life was just something that you dream of, and getting to get that from them was awesome. And so from them, Southern Gospel has just been like, I'll go listen to it. I'll go sing it. I'll go support it. I'll do anything because this music is the best music. Because not only is the music really good as a music education student, but the lyrics are just, they'll cut you to your core. They'll make your bad day a good day. The music of the, and it's, as Scott says, I can text an artist like a best friend. And it's the reason I met you. Why else would I meet another young guy from South Carolina without Southern Gospel music? You know what I'm saying? Or like Riley, why would I meet a random guy from Georgia without Southern Gospel music? Southern Gospel is quite awesome, and there's not a lot of genres you can do that with.
That's right.
Love it. Avery.
So yeah, Evan is right. I will have a little bit cooler story. That's not his fault. He's just the younger sibling. So Mom tells a story that I was a Southern Gospel fan before I was even born. So apparently when she was pregnant with me, she went to see the Inspirations at a concert in Jasper. I think Jasper. I don't really know. But anyway, she said the whole time the Inspirations were singing, she said you just moved the whole time. She said they'd quit singing, you'd stop. Somebody'd get up and talk, you'd stop. They'd get back up and sing, you'd go nuts. And so she told, I think it was Jack Laws, she told then, she said, you've got an Inspiration fan coming your way, So I think of the scripture, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. So he knew. But my first concert, I was 8 months old at a Bishop's homecoming in Kentucky. And so bluegrass and all of that and the Bishops, I grew up teething on them. My parents loved the Bishops. And then my great aunt, she had Down syndrome, and she would love to sit on our front porch swing. And she had her little radio and cassette tapes. And we would sit on the front porch swing. And I'm like 4, 5, 6 years old, kindergarten age. We would sit on the front porch swing and listen to those Southern Gospel cassettes of the McCameys, Gold City. I mean, all these kinds of groups. And then she had a DVD player, and she would watch the Gaither homecoming stuff. And so I grew up, I'm like, wow, I want to sing like these ladies in the choir. Like, I got to watch Vestal Goodman, sing her heart out. I got to watch Sherry Easter. I remember seeing her as a young kid and thinking, she's just amazing. Libby, she was on there. And so I was just mesmerized by this music. And as I got older, my parents talked about going to Quartet Convention every year. And I was like, wow. And then she had some videos of Quartet Convention. And I'm like, I've got to experience this. Like, I've got to go. Well, because I went to public school, I didn't really have that opportunity to ever go. And then I graduated high school, and I was like, great, I'm going to go to Quartet Convention for my 20th birthday. Like, this is going to be great. And then COVID hit, and I was like, but it continued on. And that fall festival was like my perfect entrance into NQC and what it was, because it wasn't full blown in your face. It was just like a taste of it. And I was like, I have to have more of this. And so at this point in high school and stuff, I was going to concerts a lot. Mom and I would go. Evan was in his Elvis phase, and so he didn't go as much. And it was just me and Mom. And those are like some of the fondest memories through high school, was on the weekends when everybody was going to other friends' houses and hanging out. I would go with Mom to see Southern Gospel concerts. And it's just become a culture in our household of, let me check my calendar on my weekends, because they're already booked up with singings. And that's what I enjoy doing. And I've made so many friends. One of my first friends was Trevor Conkle. I met him in Bessemer, and he was like 2 years older than me. I was like, wow, look, there's a kid my age. We're teenagers that are like, we actually like Southern Gospel music. I'm not the only person that likes this. And then my friendships have built over the years. Now I've got so many people from across the country. I'll be talking to somebody. I'm like, oh yeah, I know somebody from this little place in, I don't know, in like North Carolina. And they're like, how do you know somebody out there? And I'm like, oh, through Southern Gospel, I know this person and that person. And it's just great. I've got this network of friends all over the place. And so not only is the music is so moving. This morning I was listening to it. Like, it's so uplifting. And it's so good to listen to, because it's not your typical secular music. Don't get me wrong. I can jam with some classic rock. I can jam with bluegrass. But there's just something edifying about listening to Southern Gospel that the other music just doesn't quite cut. So it's just become a part of me that will never go away, I don't think.
That's good.
That's very good. Next question is, what is y'all's favorite era of gospel music?
Ooh.
Avery, on this one.
All right. So I guess because I grew up in it, the like late 80s, 90s, early 2000s, because that's what my parents loved. That's what I grew up on. There's just a nostalgia there for me. All those lineups from that era are great. Of course, now that I'm older and I'm exploring a little bit more, I really love early Southern gospel, like the typical just convention style stuff that you hear, the Shape Note, Fossil Law stuff, and then like Chuck Wagon Gang stuff. I love that early stuff.
What? You like the Chuck Wagon Gang?
But yeah, I either like late 80s to early 2000s. And then I love the modern stuff. I am huge on the modern stuff. I love this stuff. I'm like, keep it like it is right now. I love it.
Evan?
The 1970s. The suits were cool. The music was good. The quartets were on their top. I mean, you've got the Inspiration Super 8 of Archie, Troy, Eddie, Mike, and then the band with Jack and Roger and Martin and Dale. I mean, the Super 8 was just awesome. Then you have like the 1973 Kingsmen where it's Hamill and Foxy in the middle, and then you got Ray and Johnny on the ends. And getting to see Ray and Johnny in real life, like with my, like, a lot of people think I have sideburns because I love Elvis. That's a lot of the reason. But sideburns are cool in the 70s, and I love 70s culture. Whenever I dress up, I wear 70s colors a lot. I'll wear, big collars or wear, I love 70s culture. The Imperials, when it was you had Terry and Armand and Jim and Dave in 1973, and I know that goes in a little bit of the far side of Southern Gospel and more into your contemporary side, but the 70s of Southern Gospel, they could do stuff that was so experimental for the genre, and I love experiment. And I know guys like you with the 50s and 60s sound was kind of like, well, that's what ruined that, but still, even people as conservative as the Inspirations were in that time, were still experimental. And I love the 70s of gospel music. You even go to places like the Thrasher Brothers, go to, think of guys like them. And it was all good because it was just experimental and they were trying to fit in with Southern rock, but still keep like the classic conventional quartet sound and try to match what country was doing. It's just, I love the 70s. It is awesome.
Awesome. Scott Bouldin.
Last name and all. Good grief. I thought I was in trouble. Yeah, I mean, because again, what I grew up in and where I got hooked, I mean, you could go from about 1981 to about 1994, 95, somewhere in that range would be probably my heyday, what really shaped me, what I love. But it's hard to get away from the 50s as well. Because, and it's funny, we've talked a lot about the statesman, and the traditionalism of the statesman. There's a lot of controversy about the statesman. Yes. They took what was normal and normally accepted in the Southern gospel genre and kind of turned it upside down with the stage presentation and some of the stylings of the songs, and throwing in a Big Chief, throwing in the Elvis knee shake and everything else. I mean, they wouldn't show him from the waist down on the television show when he was doing that, and just so many things. I think the 50s was also a pivotal shaping time for what was to come for Southern gospel music. So I go my heart with the 80s to the 90s, but then the 50s were special too.
Yes. O'Reilly.
Well, I think my answer is pretty similar to Avery. Growing up, I listened to a lot of Ivan and Tim and Brian and Mike Gold City, and then Jay and Jonathan and Mark and also Tim. The fact that group has those two lineups, like they were back to back. I mean, that's pretty impressive. And so seeing that resurgence of that group has been really awesome for me because I love those songs. And then I love the old convention style singing too, because I've gone to the Alabama School of Gospel Music 2022, 2023. Awesome songs that probably people have never heard. And then some of them I think they need to be picked up by main groups because
I
they just
totally agree.
they're all awesome songs, and so that's something I would like to see. And so I like probably like the 60s to the 90s is probably my favorite, and then also I love some stuff that's coming out today. Like the Inspirations' new album is awesome, reminiscent
Look at
of very old Southern gospel songs. And they said, I was reading under Inspirations, it says the Blackwood Brothers and the Statesmen. This stuff that you might would have heard of them or the old Inspirations do. So I totally recommend that album. That's just a little plug there because I'm a big Inspirations fan too. So if anybody that knows me knows that the Inspirations are my favorite, and so there we go.
I'd have never known that.
Oh,
I have not heard the Inspiration new album yet, but I've been looking forward to it, and I cannot wait to hear it.
Awesome.
So, next question is, here's one that I've been looking forward to asking. What is your favorite group of all time and your favorite lineup of that group?
Ooh.
I kind of already said it. I have two. I have the Perrys. Modern day, I have the Perrys when it was Andrew, Troy, Libby, and Jared/Tracy. Kind of that transitional period when Tracy sang and then post Tracy, because that's the group that made me love gospel music. But then, as much as I love the Super 8 Inspirations, I'm gonna have to say that it's the 73 Imperials, because the 73 Imperials just, you crank that on and my day goes from a 0 to 100, where it was Jim Murray, Terry Blackwood, I can't remember, Armin Morales, and I can't remember the leads. Oh man, Dave Will. I can't remember his last name, but that line, and Sherman Andrus was also part of that lineup. He kind of would sing kind of in the place of Elvis at times, just would sing lead as the guys would sing kind of back up behind him. But their stuff, even whenever you get into era, I mean, you can kind of sub out Dave Will for Russ Taff and into that era, kind of those six in that 73 to about 78, that era. And also someone has put the Oak Ridge Boys from the 70s. That's also another one of my favorites. I cried seeing that lineup live one time. So where it was the Elvira group. I know their country, whatever. They were a quartet at one time.
They were gospel for many years.
Yes, right.
We'll go Scott now.
I'm going in my mind in so many different directions. It's so easy to put things that's in front of you and some of the later year groups in there, because I'm so tempted to just go on a tangent and go new, but I'm going to go old from established group that lasted for a period of time. Rosie, Jack, Doy, Big Chief, that version of the Statesman that actually was together. I mean, it's how do you beat that? Yes, there's some iconic lineups. We've already hit them. We hadn't even hit the Glenn and the George and the Danny and Mark lineup. And then in modern times, I mean, the Kingdom Heirs, when they had Jerry and Lauren and Arthur and Jeff. I mean, good
that was
grief.
such a good lineup.
I mean, there's so many you can stack up. The Gold Cities, we've said it. There's Rebels lineups. There's Blue Ridge Quartet lineups. And I'm just hitting traditional. I'm not hitting any of the, I guess, quartet. I'm saying traditional male quartets. But, yeah, let me go with my original gut. So I said what I said.
We'll go Avery now.
Oh, I would. Okay. So I was sitting here thinking, and so many of them bounced through my head, and I was like, oh, all time?
You want Riley to go first, or do you want to go?
Riley, you got one all time? I feel like you got one all time.
I see. I feel like I could go modern, and I know
that's me. I could go older. I could go modern.
I kind of want to give both. I don't know about all time. I think I really, if we're going older, I really love the Kingsman lineup with Ernie, Jim, Eldridge, and Ray Dean.
That is such a good lineup. Yeah.
I got a hold of Alan Kendall's Dropbox, and so I've been listening to a whole lot of old Kingsmen, and then if for modern day, I just love the inspiration. So Wyatt, Luke, Roland, and Isaac. So that's maybe predictable answers, but I do love the inspiration. So there we go.
I thought that would make an appearance, and I was going to go modern. They're at the top of their game, and probably in the long run will end up being one of my all-time favorite lineups. But if I'm going back a little bit, I've got to go with Evan with the Perrys from like 2015 to like 2019 with Troy and Andrew and her, and then Jared stepped in, and I really loved Andrew and Troy and Libby and them and how they blended. I mean, you just can't beat that sound.
Andrew Goldman's still one of the best lead singers, and he hasn't picked a microphone up in about 5 years.
I'm also a huge fan of Mark Trammell's lineup that he's got going on right now. I think in the long run, they'll be one of my favorites of all time. I mean, they are solid as a rock. Right. And then I have to give a flower out. I don't talk about this group enough, and Evan was talking about it the other day, and he's like, what is one of your favorite quartets of all time? And I said, Legacy 5 with Scott Fowler. I liked him with Brian Walker because I liked Brian Walker back when he was with the Perrys, but he just really killed it with Legacy 5. Matt Fouch and Lee Black. I mean, that lineup right there is killer. And I forget to talk about them more than I should. But I love that lineup too. So I guess I lean more modern, but.
Cool. And now this next question, I was just going to leave this one for Evan because he has a record collection in the background, but I'll ask all of you. Do all of you have a record collection, and about how many do you have and all that stuff? Riley?
I'll go first since you asked about Evan.
Okay, yeah.
Mine's at the bottom. He won't show mine because mine's mostly bluegrass and classic rock or old country. And he's like, that belongs on the bottom. Cool. But I have a bunch down there that he won't let me showcase.
Cool.
I do.
Tell me about all your records, Evan.
So this
started collecting and how many you have and all that stuff.
So I started collecting around 2020. My first ever record wasn't a gospel record, which is wild. It was Jerry Lee Lewis Golden Hits Volume 2, and I got it signed by Jerry Lee's son, and that's always been kind of a treasured. I love the Sun Studio era of Elvis and Cash and Jerry Lee. I could talk days about that, but the top row here is the Inspirations, the Kingsmen, the Imperials, the Chuckwagon Gang, the Cathedrals, and who is that? The Spears and Thrasher Brothers. It's like all of my favorite kind of groups. But I have 352 with duplicates. Now, just individual albums, 309. Now, I'm still working. I haven't counted all of these yet, and there's about 5 or 6 in here. Like, this is a great one of the Primitives' first albums. I've got the Primitives' first album signed thanks to the Guffies. We do some stuff with the SGMA. I'll help them out at table just to give a young face to the table. And one time I accidentally put that record in my records, and I was like, oh, I need to get that back to you. I go, no, keep it. So I have the first ever Primitive album. Another big one of my collection, the Cathedral Trio's first album, which is probably my prized possession, a 1945 Chuckwagon 78.
That's mine.
That's actually hers, but I and then I've got a ton. There's some down here, a lot of pride stuff. I've got Cool Water. I've not gotten Pioneer Heritage, and Riley, don't shove it in my face. I know you have it, whatever. But if anyone is on here, I will pay for a Pioneer Heritage. So if you have it and you have a duplicate copy, if you have the Inspirations Pioneer Heritage, please, I will buy it. But yeah, I have a lot of, that's kind of my thing. The Imperials, I have 2 of their first one where it's the star and it's got Jake and Gary McSpadden and all those guys on it. So that's probably one of my favorites in my collection. I'm a huge Imperials guy. I have, I think, everything but 2 of theirs. So that's a bit about my collection. And I've got memorabilia. That's not a real poster, but this is a poster I found of it, and I printed it out. It's the Inspirations when they were selling Night of Inspiration. I've got some more memorabilia, so it's full of memorabilia and stuff. And I've got the green glasses. I don't display them, but I want to thank someone. for them and all of the baseball cards. I want to thank another person for those. But yeah, I have a lot of memorabilia. So thank you for giving me the time to talk about my prized things over here in my corner.
You're welcome. Riley, what you got, bro?
Well, I probably don't have as many as everybody else has. I have mostly inspirations ones. I have bought some records lately that are just, like the Greater Vision Christmas in London and Think About There. And then I guess I have that Cathedrals Trio one as well. And I have some Gold City and some Kingsman, and I think I have some of the Spear family. But they're mostly the inspirations, and I'm still working on collecting everything and don't spend as much time on that as I could, but hopefully one of these days I'm gonna have as big a collection as Evan, but got a long ways to go. But it's really neat how that's kind of come back in the last couple years and seeing how it's relevant, I guess you guys could say again, and some of the best music is still only on LP, so there you go.
Scott?
All right. So one thing too, on clean up just a little bit, just in case. Now the green glasses that y'all have, the Blackwoods, that was from Neil and Loretta.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna correct him, and then
You were the transporter. Yes, it was Neil. That's been. Thank you for those though, Neil. That's probably a up here item on my list.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I put them out on like one of our first episodes, and then everybody was like, "Are you looking to sell those? Well, how much would you sell those to me?" And I was like, "They're not
For
sale,
nothing.
they were a gift."
Nothing. I ain't selling them.
So records. Yeah, I've been collecting not a long time, but I'm jealous of a lot of my friends that collect, and but I think I'm somewhere in the 550 to 600 range.
Ooh.
You make me look like a wimp.
I've got the entire Inspirations catalog except Through the Gates with Brother Ralph Sexton. That's the last Inspirations album that I'm looking for.
Oh, I thought you said you had it. I was like,
no. That's the last one that I'm looking for, and then I will have their complete. I've almost got to complete Cathedrals catalog. So that's the two main focus. I think I like one Gold City for their entire catalog, which was shorter, of course, because they just started, 79, 80, something like that. I do collect classic country and classic rock, but the large number of that is Southern gospel. And then I'm into a whole lot of other trinkets. I've got 2 complete sets of the Singing News trading cards.
You gave us a portion of some of them.
Y'all got about 80 to 85% of them, I think, for what I gave you. And then I've helped a couple other people. I got into that for a while. I've got the Cathedrals bus bank. I've got the Ernie bobblehead.
See, he makes my collection look wimpy.
I got the Blackwoods glasses and several other little trinkets here or there that I've also really got into recently. Photos, like table photos. So anybody out there that has a collection of the table photos, because not a lot of folks care about that, but as y'all see, I'm in the process of lining the entire studio with those photos, new and old. So yeah. Oh, this is a neat little thing. This was Roy Pauly art.
Yep.
That was this was, I think, from a Grand Ole Gospel reunion, and this one that I have is signed by most of the ones that's pictured on the artwork, so it's pretty cool.
That's
Picked
awesome.
up some other Roy Pauly drawings here a while back. Got the good grief, Hovey Lister and the Cathedrals SGMA prints. I don't have the Lewis family, but I've got 2 of the 3. So yeah, I get in trouble a lot at home with my purchases and stuff like that, but I love all things Southern gospel.
Good stuff. The next question is: do y'all listen to any other kind of music? And a few of you have already touched on this, but do you listen to any other kind of music besides gospel? And if so, what genres?
Sorry.
He's got a sweaty armpit all over me.
Sorry.
Gross.
Avery, you listen to classic rock and bluegrass, but is there anything else you listen to besides those two?
Yeah, so country music from, the beginnings of it. So like the 30s, 40s, all the way up to like the 70s, some of the 80s, some of the 90s, but mostly 30s to 70s country is where I like to land. And then, bluegrass from anywhere from the beginnings to now. That's, if you come in my car, I literally had a girl get in my car and I hooked my phone up and it just automatically started playing banjos. And I was like, I'm so sorry. It's just like, and then this morning my cell service went down for a hot second, so I just swapped over to the radio and had classic rock jamming the rest of the way to Birmingham. So those are my top three, probably.
Cool.
Awesome.
Evan?
All this stuff, man. The classic old rockabilly, Elvis, Johnny Cash, Jerry Lee Lewis, Carl Perkins, the $1 Million Quartet guys, Roy Orbison. I'll even throw in Buddy Holly and guys like that. Old 50s, but the exact opposite of gospel music, but devil music, or as people called it back then, and all that. But a lot of those guys were actually big on Church of God music back then, and how that's how the music was built. Your walking bass line that Jerry Lee Lewis did was a Church of God thing. They would do that a lot back then. And so that whole walking bass line was inspired by things like Just a Little Talk with Jesus. That whole bass line is essentially a rockabilly walking bass line. So a lot of those guys, if you go and listen, if you want some really good quartet singing, and people are going to be like, oh, whatever, go listen to the $1 Million Quartet recordings. It was a jam night, and they all four, Elvis, Johnny Cash, Jerry Lee Lewis, Carl Perkins, all got together and kind of sang together and sang stuff like Softly and Tenderly, Just a Little Talk with Jesus, stuff like that. So it was really cool.
Cool. Scott?
I nerded out.
Oh, yeah. I definitely have an affinity for classic country from the mid 70s to the 1990. Gosh, it's amazing calling 1990 classic country, but here I am. And then classic rock. I like the old, like the 50s, 60s, but the transition into the 70s, thoroughly enjoy that.
The 80s.
CCR, big time favorite of mine,
Make
and
that
leaving it
shout.
through there. And I guess the other affinity that I have, other than Southern gospel, classic and Southern rock and classic country, would be jazz. And that's instrumentally. Now there are a few singers that I like to follow, but yeah, I like jazz. I like big band type music. So yeah, there's that.
Talk with me after the podcast, Scott, if you want to see some live big band.
Okay.
I happen to be a big band drummer.
Riley?
Well, I am probably the least interesting out of everybody. I don't really listen to many different genres. I basically Southern gospel and gospel bluegrass. That's about my scope right there. But within those genres, there's lots of different genres, even within the Southern gospel and everything. So you have a little bit of everything in Southern gospel.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Cool.
Time out. So let me step in just right quick, and I don't know what else you have lined up, but I'm noticing a couple of things, which we're past the hour and a half mark, so we probably need to start getting the ponies a little bit pointed toward the barn, which our watchers are going down. But I'm noticing up there, I don't know if y'all can see it, but like where you have likes, somebody put an angry face. I wonder who we made mad. Do you see that?
It's Evan and his devil music.
It's probably so, or the boogie hand, left hand or something. But anyway,
I can say it's been there since before then. I noticed it when it first popped up. I don't remember what we were talking about.
I can't see it.
It's not there. It's not there anymore. I'll put one. I'm kidding.
It looks like my hair. No, I'm kidding.
I will find it anyway. So, all right, Brother Nick, you got another question maybe to kind of lead us home?
I have two more quick ones.
Okay.
What is each of your favorite TV show of all time?
Oh, dang. I watch a lot of TV. Who wants to go first? I got it.
Give me a second.
We'll go Riley this time.
Okay, Riley.
I'd have to say the Andy Griffith Show or Little House on the Prairie.
I love Little House.
We just finished watching through the whole series a couple weeks ago, and I did not know that at the very end they blow everything up, but they do. So,
Well, you just
Way
spoiled
to
it for
spoil it. I was
everybody.
gonna go watch it. No, I wasn't.
all these years later, you don't know. No.
I'll save time. Quick answer: Little House on the Prairie for me.
Evan.
You go.
The Office. I have so much Office collectible stuff. It is dry humor. It is hilarious. I would never work in an office, but it's my favorite TV show.
Avery, is it Little House or what?
No. I'm gonna be a little controversial in the things that I watch. Not that they're bad. They're just like they're. I don't know. I liked The Crown that was on Netflix because I love historical fiction and historical documentaries. I also like Call the Midwife on Netflix. It's also on the BBC. I love that. I like British shows. I don't know why. We just finished binging all of Young Sheldon, except for the season 7 that is airing on air now, which is like the prequel to The Big Bang Theory.
Ooh, very controversial.
Yeah, and then what else? I also like Anne with an E, which is like a spinoff of Anne of Green Gables, which is a little more like Little House on the Prairie, that kind of vibe. So I don't know. If it's historical fiction, I probably like it.
Awesome. My last question is, what is y'all's favorite way to listen to music, whether it be vinyl or CD or streaming or whatever? Vinyl for Evan.
Actually, I hate to say this, I stream a whole lot more than I do vinyl because I'm out so much and I'm traveling so much with doing my Elvis gig and going to concerts that it's kind of easier to plug in some headphones than it is to crack one on the turntable. But if I'm at home and it's just me, vinyl.
Avery?
I stream most of my stuff. However, I am an early 2000s kid, and cassettes and CDs will always have a special place in my heart. I kind of prefer a cassette. They don't get scratched.
Ooh. We'll go Riley.
Well, I do a mix of everything, I guess. My choice is I digitize the CD or vinyl, and I listen to it that way so I can put it on a playlist and just I just prefer that way over anything else.
Cool. And we'll go Scott.
All right. And here I am, the old man. Get off my lawn. As I know, I have lived through 8 tracks to cassette tapes to and LPs and then
How
to
ancient.
CDs. I can't stand the streaming, and but I mean, it's everybody likes their different things. But to me, the thing that bothers me the most is the absolute highway robbery to the artist that on the copyrights and royalties that they don't get paid
right
as they should. I mean, I think I saw something one time like for maybe 100,000 streams, it was like $9 or
Gerald
90
Wolf
cents.
made a really good post.
It was just, it's absolutely highway robbery. So for that fact, I'm a real stickler with the artist to buy, or you can buy the product off of your iTunes or whatever, or buy the physical CD.
I do both.
That's what I do. I'll buy the CD and stream.
We won't stream a CD or an album until we have pay for a copy.
Right.
Yeah. So, but if I have a really good sound system, the vinyl sound is amazing. If you have now like those little tabletop deals with the speakers, it's about that big, you don't get the good quality off of that. I had my phone in my hand when I raised it, didn't I? But anyway, if you have really good sound system that the vinyl's on, it's good. But I guess I'm giving you, I said short answers and this is long, but let's just CDs. CDs is what I like. I enjoy the quality of the sound when you're listening on a good stereo system. So there you go.
And that's all I've got.
You did an amazing job at grilling us some really good questions.
Fireworks, Riley.
Fireworks.
I'll try it if it'll. Why didn't it do it?
And since we transitioned from Brother Nick answering the questions to us answering the questions, we've gone down about 25 live viewers. So that's not a good sign. And I still haven't found the angry face. I was searching. That's why the phone was in my hand. I was looking on the shares and all that. I will find you. No, I'm just kidding. Well, maybe we'll get an
calling
email
security. No.
Yeah, call in security. We'll find where you live. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. We're going to get canceled on Facebook. I'm kidding. Kidding. Joke. But no, Nick, I hope you've had a really good time. We've enjoyed being. Goodness gracious, what happened there?
Riley, how'd you do that?
How'd you spin me? Don't do that.
We're not on the Southern Gospel spin, that's for sure.
I got dizzy. I almost got nauseated on that. But I hope, Nick, I hope you enjoyed yourself. We thoroughly enjoyed having you with us. You are a treasure to Southern gospel music. Just super fan, super loving guy. I mean, you don't know me as much as other ones, but I know every time we talk, you end with "I love you, buddy," and that means a lot because I think you mean it.
Right.
You have a heart for people. You have love in your heart, which is a reflection of your love for the Lord, and it shows. And I just thank you for spending your time with us tonight. I hope you've had a blast, bud.
What an honor. I appreciate it so much. I have had a great time. Yes, I have. Evan?
Can I brag on you too? Anytime I see someone who's needing prayer in Southern Gospel, a lot of people, when you're like, hey, pray for, so-and-so, a lot of people will just put praying. Nick puts prayed because I believe truly that he's already done it. And that may be something small that you don't realize that you do, Nick. But whenever I see it, that means so much to me that I know that if I ever need prayer, that there's someone who's already prayed instead of saying that they will pray. You know what I'm saying? You're proactive, and that's what makes you such a good friend, is that you don't have to be told to do stuff like that.
Well, thank you, buddy.
Yep. Isaac from the Inspirations convicted me so badly one time, and which was awesome from a young person speaking into an old guy like me. But speaking about that, it's easy when somebody got to say, "Oh, I'm hurting. I broke my leg. This is going on." Praying, that's easy. To say you're praying, to throw up the hands together, but do you really stop? Do you really lift up the person to the master? And that's awesome testimony from you, Nick. And I'm going to do something I didn't ask for permission. My young co-host may fire me tonight, so if y'all pray for me. But we never talk about the next show.
Oh yes. I was about to text you and ask if we could.
On the existing show, but I'm going to let the cat out of the bag in a couple of weeks, and you're going to start seeing it promoted. We are going to do, and here we are at an hour and 40 minutes, but we are going to do a little extended show.
Riley, get your nap in.
Get your nap in, Riley.
We are
going to have two different guests on the show. We are going to be talking a lot about something that people are excited about all over the Southern gospel world.
I think there was a comment earlier about who on this.
Yeah, I saw that.
Will be.
And that is Singing in the Smokies that is coming back. Woo! And we are going to have the Troy Burns family.
Woo!
And we're going to have Isaac Moore on the show. We're going to have two different guests. So y'all go ahead and be marking that down on the calendar. I think it is actually the 18th, 2 weeks from tonight. We will be doing Central. Same bat time, same bat channel. So make sure that you get that written down and tune in with us. And of course, your sponsorships of that would mean the world to us as we keep rolling along. But thank y'all so much for watching. Any last words from my panel?
I guess it's time to go take a nap.
A long nap, right? About an 8-hour one. Yep.
For real, yes. Nick has wanted to be a guest on here, and I've wanted Nick to be a guest on here since before we started, and I'm so glad this episode got to become a thing. I've looked forward to this all day.
Oh yeah,
and
his internet stayed on.
Yes, go ahead, Nick.
I was going to bring up that I've been texting y'all, all four of y'all, about this for a while, haven't I?
Yeah.
Yes, you have.
At least I'll text all four of you and say I'm looking forward to it and all that stuff. So yeah, I have been looking forward to it, and I've loved it.
You've been excited, and we've been excited to have you. And if anybody's watching this now, comments, we'll see them later or whatever, but let us have some feedback, because we've got some ideas on a couple of other folks that you would call industry insiders that are young folks that we're going to bring on.
Might not know a lot about.
Yeah, you might know not a lot about them, but, get to meet them. So let us know how you enjoyed it. Give us some feedback. But I think we're going to go ahead and get to the house, y'all. And Nick, you can stay with us. We'll wrap up off air right quick. But to our watchers, we love you so much. More importantly, God loves you.
Yes.
And wherever you go this week, if you'll spread his love to others, you'll make a difference on the world. Until next time, we'll see you on Southern Gospel Forward.
Love y'all.